Hi everyone. I hope everyone is having a beautiful day. I'm Tarasha. Welcome to my channel. I have news for you guys. Tomorrow is literally my 36th birthday, which is wild to me, by the way. I've been in my 30s for a while now, okay? I'm getting into that middle, stage of it. And anytime my birthday comes up, I usually just want a chill day. I'm not like really super excited for my birthday, but of the day of my birthday, I do get excited for it. But an idea came to my head the day before yesterday, and the idea is that I share 35 movies that I enjoy and love to watch. And here we go. We're going to talk about these movies, give you guys maybe a list of movies you guys haven't seen or movies that you probably have seen and you want to watch them again. I love this list that I came up with 35 movies that I love or got introduced to at a young age or still watch today. Most of all these movies I still watch today. Let's start off this list very strong. Lion King. Okay. Now I will say Lion King is one of those Disney animated movies that kind of scarred me, but also very enjoyable when it comes to the music. Who does not like the music that comes out of Lion King? Okay, the fact that we've had live actions now, that we're so far into this whole live action thing. Don't get me wrong, I love a good live action, but the original always will stand up all the way up here. It will. The next movie is Sister Act, which stars Whoopi Goldberg, one of my favorite people, but also her comedy is just amazing, and her become from a singer to a nun and hide out and stuff. The comedy in itself in that movie is amazing, and Whoopi is amazing in that movie. The third movie, excuse me, Toy Story. I have to put this movie on here because it was one of the first movies that I enjoyed, and also one of the first movies that I went to see in the movie theater as a very young child. Now, the one thing about Woody and Buzz, their friendship, but also their back and forth. The fact that we also are getting another one this year, but the nostalgia of it all, anytime I turn it on and seeing Mr. Potato Head and Mrs. Potato Head and Rex and Little Bo Peep, it's just amazing how those iconic characters are still very vibrant and also have a very positive outcome to people today. I just love that movie. The fifth movie, Free Willy. Free Willy is one of those movies that you have a kid and get close to a whale. Well, a just I love at a very young age. I love sea life, and to see that connection and seeing one of my favorite scenes is when he goes like this and the whale jumps over him. The orca jumps over him was one of my favorite scenes. But also all the movies that came after, I also love those movies too. The next one is one of my favorite anime movies, which is Your Name. If you have never seen this movie and you want to after seeing this video, go and watch it. Okay, you want emotions, you want a good cry. Shoot, that's a good one. That's the first time watching this movie. I didn't know what I was in for. I really didn't. Think of like Freaky Friday. It's basically that, but like more emotion into it. The animation, the anime, excuse me, the anime style is fantastic, and the fact that this movie every time I watch it just gets better and better. The next movie, which is something that I have personally have talked about on here a lot when it comes to Power Rangers, but in particularly Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. I was already in love with Power Rangers as a little kid in 1993. When this movie came out, which I believe was like 1995, blew my mind. Okay. I believe, and I don't care what anybody says, that this movie's iconic. It has iconic scenes. Anything that comes with Power Rangers and you're newly into this Power Ranger game, watch the movie. There's also a Turbo movie too. But the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, in my particular opinion, is one of the best. Now the Turbo one is really good too, you know. But I do have a review coming out for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie because I've sat up here and talked about it, but not really initially gave you my review about it. So I am working on that. Iconic. You have six Rangers that is fighting Mr. Purple Man. Sorry, Ivan News. I call him Purple Man. And the fact that this man scared Rita and Zed, and at the turning moment, Zed and Rita was rooting for the Power Rangers, tell you everything. Okay? Next movie is Parent Trap, which stars Lindsay Lohan. Now, I will say this, and I have said this before on other platforms. As watching this as a little kid, I did believe that Lindsay Lohan was a twin. Okay, I will say that. But this movie is also about twins that get separated because their parents separated. Okay, now Parent Trap is one of those movies that you have a twins that one lives in London and the other one lives in Napa. And all of a sudden they meet each other at a camp and they butt heads, then stuff just goes. The fact that I talk about this woman a lot, the fact that she played the dad's like girlfriend, she got on my last nerve. Like that last itch, and you can't itch it. She got on my nerves. The fact that these twins basically was like, okay, we don't like you. She had a whole lizard in her mouth, or gecko, whatever you want to call it. Okay. She also fell asleep, woke up on the lake, and started screaming. Okay. Do I believe she deserved it? Yes, I do. I believe. Come on now. If you want to sit up there and bully me, I'm going to, well, be sneaky about it. I'm not messy, but she was. She really was. The next movie is Titanic. Now, Titanic is one of those movies that I got introduced to at a very, not a very young age. I believe I was in my teens. But then I was like, okay, this movie is just so good. Both of them could have fit on they could have both fit, excuse me. Okay? That made me mad, and it still makes me mad to this day. It really do. It's also a really good James Cameron movie. Um, Friday, which stars uh Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. What can I say about this movie that no one don't know about? The movie's fantastic. Did I watch this movie at a very young age? Yes. Should I have been watching it? Probably not. Do I know every line in this movie? Yes. Is it iconic? Yes. Do I recommend this movie to watch at 11 years old? Probably not, because there's a lot of cussing in this movie, but you could easily pick 20 scenes from this movie and every scene will be iconic, especially when you have Chris Tucker, who will, I feel like Ice Cube told him do anything, and this is what we got. To have like Debo, his scenes are iconic. John Witherspoon, just iconic. Everybody in that movie was iconic. And I feel like today, which I know that Ice Cube is writing another Friday movie, which I believe he's just going to call Last Friday, right? And anytime I talk about comedy or talk about movies that I just love and it's part of my like library of movies in my head, I go to that movie just to laugh out loud and just like just say every line. Because, like I said, you have the iconic Bernie Mac, iconic John Witherspoon. R.I.P. to both of them. Just amazing movie. And the fact that I just need more comedy like that. I really do. I feel like that's what we're lacking. It's hard comedy that you could push the buttons and just have fun and go into the movie theater. Don't worry about whatever else is going outside the door. Just laugh and just forget about things that are going on in your life and just laugh. That's what we need these days. Seriously, we really need that. The next movie on my list is Rush Hour. Actually, Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2. Both iconic movies. Also starring Chris Tucker and the beloved Jackie Chan. Now, I will say with both of these movies, iconic, right? Iconic scenes from the first one, iconic scenes from the second one. Both the fact that you have Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker in both of these movies, and you could tell that their friendship just grew from each movie, right? By the way, the movie is just amazing. The bloopers is like icing on the top. It really is. It's something that is just something that's just funny. If you haven't seen the bloopers to both of these movies, I would recommend to go and watch the bloopers. The fact that Chris, Chris Tucker and see and the two in the second movie is he looked up. There's a scene basically in the beginning of the movie that they're on like bamboo type of thing. He looked up and said, "Oh hell no!" And it's just amazing. Another movie that comedy is just the main. Well, there's drama, there's comedy, mostly comedy, mystery. Trying to figure who, that type of thing. But my thing is the comedy is just like the main focus, and it keeps on pushing it, and it's so amazing. Oh my goodness. The next movie is Jurassic Park. Now, I love at a young age, and still these days too, that I love Jurassic Park. The fact that we know that Jurassic Park is a bad idea when it comes to you want to use real dinosaurs in an amusement park. What do you think is going to happen? Everything's going to be peachy keen? No! Everything is not going to be peachy keen. You have real life dinosaurs. What do you think is going to happen? A la di da, nothing's going to happen. You just walking through the amusement park, and then you just see just a dinosaur in its own habitat. It sees you. What do you think it's going to think? Oh, this is a lovely person. No, it's thinking about eating you. That's what it's thinking. And the fact that we've had many and people think in that one person in that movie is like, oh, we're going to thrive, and then you have like people on this side like, oh, we can make money off of it and just do hybrids and this. What do you think is going? Nothing's going to just nothing's going to happen, and over again explain to you from the first movie that dinosaur the two of them see a dinosaur in front of their eyes. They're of awe. I would be of awe too, but the back of my head, I'm going to be thinking, okay, the ones that can eat meat, where are they? Like, where the hell are they? Are they close? Are they locked up? Like the raptors? Oh my goodness. Iconic scenes, but also just iconic. Just the movie of itself. I do remember when this movie did first come out. The next movie is, you know, you're gonna see a lot of franchises on this list. Fast and the Furious. The one I put was Too Fast, Too Furious. Okay, but I'm going to say this: the fact that every single of one of these movies, hopefully I can fit all of them on here, is yes, it's about family, it's about racing, it's about doing the right thing. It's also saving the people that you love. And the fact that we are getting a new one pretty soon. I think it was 2028 if I'm not mistaken. But or 2000, I'll put the real thing on here. But then recently they're developing a TV series, which I think is amazing, right? I sat up here and talked about this. So I got interrupted. Got a phone call. Sorry about that. But with Fast and the Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious, I believe that's one of the best ones when it comes to the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, the first one is amazing too, but Too Fast and Too Furious, we also meet Tyrese's character and the fact, RIP to Paul Walker, who plays Brian. The fact that this movie has lasted a decade is amazing, like the whole franchise. And it keeps on giving us movies and stuff, and now developing TV show. It is also they've also had an animation show too. But I believe Too Fast and Too Furious is iconic. You also see so many characters. The cars are amazing, just amazing. Also, you also see Ludacris, and Tyrese and Ludacris has continued to be in multiple Fast and Furious movies, which is amazing. But I always go to all of these movies, but Too Fast and Too Furious is one of my favorites, and it will continue being one of my favorites. The next movie will be Blank Check. Now, I feel like a lot of people haven't seen this movie. Now, Blank Check is about a kid that somehow gets involved of he gets a blank check. He's very tech savvy, by the way. He gets a blank check. His dad write he gets a blank check, I believe, from his grandma. She didn't write a amount. I think the dad wrote an amount. Then he blanked that out and put another amount in it. Somehow create a whole persona and start and also buy a mansion that's literally, I think, across the street or down the street from his parents. And they say that he told his parents that he worked for the man, and the man doesn't even exist. Okay, he has a limo driver. He somehow, convinced a woman, and he has a crush on this older lady. It's a crazy movie, but also just a really good movie. And I got introduced to that movie at a very young age. Also, another good movie is The Mummy. Okay, the first Mummy is one of my favorites. We have three mummies, right? Out of those three, the first two are both of my favorites. But the first one, meeting Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, hopefully I said her name right. But that movie's iconic, right? And then they made a two and a three, and now a four, which is amazing. When I found that out, I was happy. You know why I was happy? Because it's just I love it. It's just it's an amazing movie. They're in Egypt. That's my phone, sorry. But you see just I kind of like Egypt and the whole mummy thing and stuff. Are these some jump scare moments? As a kid watching it, yes, it was some jump scare moments. Then him getting the things that he need to get back to what he needs to look like is kind of creepy. It really is. The next movie is The Bodyguard. The Bodyguard stars Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner. Now, the thing that I'm going to say about this movie is the fact, yes, it's a romance love story, right? The soundtrack to this movie is awesome, okay? And I love, excuse me, I love, why did I just blank up on her name like that? I love Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston is one of those people when she opened her mouth, just beautifulness just came out and we had the privilege to hear it. And The Bodyguard is an amazing movie. I got introduced to this when I was in my teens, and the amount of times I just rewatched it, it's an amazing movie. Soundtrack's amazing, but the story itself is amazing. The next movie is Clueless. I've also talked about this movie on here, but it's just one of my favorites, and I can't stop talking about it. You talking about like a 95 movie, like it's just, it came out in the 90s, but as if, like iconic sayings, right? The fashion. This the fact that you have Cher and she lives in this big mansion. Her dad's a lawyer. Does she fall in love with her ex stepbrother? Yes, she does. But but is it weird? Yes, it is. Is it okay? I don't know. In my mind, with the first time I watched this at 16, I was like, what the, like, what am I watching? But I love this movie. I just love the fact that she helps people. She does makeovers. She's a teenager. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing, partying, um, having crushes on boys. No one's the boy that she had a crush on. The crazy thing about this is that the boy that she had a crush on, I mean, he was also a really good person, but I thought he was giving signals out, like saying, like, he was. We know that he was gay. Okay, we know that he was gay, but she didn't find out until later when she was in that car with her best friend and her boyfriend, and they almost got in a accident on the freeway. Yeah, I'm not gonna say what they how they said it, but my thing is that, but she also, at towards the end, she found out that all her friends have a beauty about themselves and love themselves. Yes, it can be chaotic when you a teenager. You got hormones and stuff that comes out of your mouth as a teenager. Don't take that stuff to heart, please. I was very just myself in high school, right? I feel like if I was going to high school in the 90s, like that particular setting in Clueless, I probably would have had the biggest ego. I feel because the school that they went to had cliques, any high school has cliques, but their high school has, like, they lived in Hollywood. So you had girls that had plastic surgery. You had boys that were, their clothes, you've seen her best friend's boyfriend's butt before you even seen his face. I mean, the movie's iconic. One boy tried to get up on Cher, she pushed him away. It's just the way they dressed in the 90s. Don't get me wrong. Some of that stuff is coming back today, which is crazy, but that's what happens to fashion. It comes out in a certain era. People look at it in this time, look at, oh, that's cute, and wear it, and it becomes this big thing again. But also, what happens is that they make a new name for it. No, make the same name that it was when it was in the 80s or in the 90s and stuff. But Clueless is iconic. You also seen skateboarding. You also seen Paul Rudd, who looks the same, by the way. Um, just iconic scenes. The fact that in the beginning of this movie, there's two things, by the way. In the beginning of this movie, you seen the man go up the stairs scared of the dad. Another thing when she was getting ready, and by the way, this is the 90s. She had touch screen looking for her outfits. Which, by the way, this outfit is iconic as hell. Okay, iconic. I would try to recreate this if I can. I'll tell y'all. But I just love this movie. I just love watching it, and the music's really good in this movie. I just love this movie so much. The next movie is Forrest Gump, which stars Tom Hanks. Now, this movie has made me in the past and still today has made me cry, made me laugh, made me have these moments of why people treat certain people certain ways. And people also have this feeling anytime I watch this movie is that he's just sitting on a bench waiting for, I believe, a bus and just talking to people that are sitting down next to him and talking the whole chocolate scene, talking about his mom, talking about just everything, right? And it's just something that's heart reaching, but also have these moments in this movie that, like when he just takes off and just start running, right? Or um the whole shrimp thing, him in the military, and just iconic moments, right? But Tom Hanks and Sally Fields did an amazing job. One of my favorite scenes is when he started doing the ping pong. Love that. I just love this movie. It's just a special movie to me because anytime I watch this movie, I start crying my eyes out. I really do. Another a movie. It's also I feel like iconic now and then, which stars Rosie O'Donnell, um Demi Moore, and here's the whole cast because a lot of names are floating in my head right now. It's about, you see two things. You see the grown up them and then kids them. And it shows what they went through as kids during that time, but also what they're going through now as adults and, reminiscing about the old times and stuff and people in the neighborhood. And they also have like a tree house. And it's just one of those movies, and I like a nostalgia of don't forget where you come from. Okay? Don't forget where you come from. When you have a group of friends from a childhood and you guys are still getting together and still reminiscing about the old times and you guys are good friends, don't forget about that. Don't forget about where you come from and where you guys are now. The fact, yes, friends get in spats, friends get, stop talking to each other sometimes, but sometimes, most of the times, you guys come together and iconic things are happening in you guys' life. One's a movie star, one's a writer, one's a doctor, one's um about to have a kid, and I believe it was her first child, if I'm not mistaken. But it's just amazing movie and iconic movie. I believe I haven't seen this movie in a while, but it's very iconic in my eyes. It's iconic. The next movie is The Incredibles. I've talked about this movie also. The Incredibles is about a family that the mom and dad, they get married, but through the time of it, being a superhero is, you can't be a superhero. And they have to go into like a protective kind of service type of thing. They get married, have a couple of kids. Jack's my favorite. Um and also Mr. Incredible, he that's my phone again, sorry. For some reason my phone is very popular right now. But then Mr. Incredible gets back into being a superhero. Then you have Free Zone. Love Free Zone. Where's my super suit? No, I love that. And I love the fact that they kept the wife hidden. Because that's like I think eventually they wanted to show her, but I love the fact that they didn't. Because it just gives us like, we can just think about, okay, what she look like? How does she look? But that iconic moment when he was looking for his suit is just an amazing scene overall. It's one of my favorite movies overall. The fact that we are getting a third one, by the way, which is amazing. The second one is amazing. The next movie is, I have a whole list, so I'm picking through which ones. Batman. Now this is the Tim Burton Batman, Michael Keaton, which is my favorite Batman. We could discuss or argue about this all we want, but I will win. Michael Keaton as Batman, in my particular opinion, is the best. Yes, he played the character again recently, but him playing that iconic Batman, I love this suit, by the way. It's just amazing. I love this movie. It would be one of my. There's a lot of Batman movies that I love, like Begins. That's one of my favorites. Christian Bale is my second Batman, my favorite Batman. Michael Keaton is my favorite. we could go over the villains if you want to. Next movie, which is Shrek, which stars Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz, Eddie Murphy. This movie is iconic. By the way, this movie is celebrating 25 years, their 25th anniversary. Now, this movie did get re-released in theaters. You guys know I like a good release. So I thought the first time I seen this movie is a DreamWorks movie, and iconic scenes, the gingerbread, the Muffin Man, favorite scene, and Donkey and Shrek. Their friendship grows throughout the movies, and we are getting another one, a fifth one. The fact that you can make a movie like this and have iconic scenes throughout, have iconic sayings like the Muffin Man, the gingerbread, and Donkey, saying what he's saying throughout the movie. But the crazy thing about it is that when this movie did come out, iconic. It's iconic 25 years later. And it will still be iconic 40 years from now. Okay, a lot of these movies are going to go to generation. Shrek, in particular, I feel like it's going to generation. Because with music and also with movies, it could be universal. It really can. A lot of iconic songs could be universal. I talked about this when I was talking about Michael, which is the Michael Jackson biopic. The fact that Michael is throughout generation to generation. Kids in the next 5 generations from now will know who Michael Jackson is. When you think of iconic movies, they will know what these movies are because a lot of us will probably never let them die because Shrek is iconic, Batman's iconic, Clueless is iconic. Um, what's another iconic movie that I've talked? Lion King. A lot of these movies are iconic. Another iconic movie is X-Men. Okay? I know people have their things about X-Men movies. The first one, which I remember when it first came out, to have Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, and Holly Berry is amazing. Now, Storm is my favorite, so is Wolverine. This movie, it was iconic. Now, do I say something now about the suits? Yes, the leather. I think I did read somewhere that this was right after like Matrix, and someone fell in love with these leather suits, which is fine because now we have the opportunity to see the real suits from the comics, like comic book accurate suits, come to real life in the MCU, as we've seen in Deadpool and Wolverine with Wolverine suit, and also we're going to see Cyclops in this iconic comic book accurate suit, okay, for Avengers Doomsday. So I love this. Yes, we didn't see it before, but we're seeing it now, and keep it coming. That's all I gotta say. The next movie is, the crazy thing about it is I love a good romantic movie and I love a good just ball out. A Walk to Remember is one of those movies. Just thinking about it makes me want to cry because this movie is about Mandy Moore's in this movie. She's ill and she falls in love with Shane West's character. And this movie, you could tell they really didn't like each other in the movie, and they grew on each other and fell in love with each other. And I love movies like this. It's sad. It really is. It's sad, but like a balls out just cry movie. I love Walk to Remember. Bring It On. I had to put this movie on here. You know why I had to put this movie on here? Because the first time I seen this, I was super young, and then the second time I seen this, I was 16, which is also young, by the way. But iconic scenes. It's about cheerleading and then stealing, certain, routines from another team. Gabrielle Union is in this movie. Kristen Dunst is in this movie. This movie is iconic. The One of my favorite scenes. I don't know how to say this, but she gets in. I think she got ticked off and tried to go after the guy that was teaching the routine. I don't know why that scene is one of my favorites, but overall, this movie is funny, but also, also like a movie of, you know, coming together, getting friendships, also falling in love, all types of stuff, right? It's your typical teen movie, but also with some great music, by the way. I love a good soundtrack to a movie. The next movie, let's hop into some decoms here that I grew up with. Cheetah Girls. What I gotta say. Cheetah Girls, when it first came out, is iconic. Still iconic, by the way. Okay? Another one. Xenon 21st Century Girl. Iconic. Judas Sapidus. Both of these decom movies are just some of my favorites. Another one which was also on Disney Channel is Get a Clue, which also stars Lindsay Lohan. Also, it like it's like a mystery, but also just so good. Princess Diaries. Now I've talked about this movie, and I don't have no problem talking about it again. You know why? Because you have Julie Andrews, Anne Hathaway, and the character that Anne Hathaway is, she living her life, going to high school, fantasizing about the boy that she wants to kiss and pop her foot to. And she comes to find out she's a princess in Genosha. And you have Julie Andrews, okay? Mary Poppins herself. That's all I got to say. I don't know why I got loud, but just iconic. Music, iconic. Just her mom is very free. They live in, I believe, like a old fire house. Joe is like the limo driver. Well, I don't think he was the limo driver. He was like the person that you go to. He was very cool, very calm. Certain sayings in this movie, just iconic. Mandy Moore is also in this movie too, by the way. Um, Next movie is Devil's Wear Prada, which is also an Anne Hathaway movie. I haven't seen the two yet. Iconic, fashion on point. You have Meryl Streep, you have Stanley Tucci, Emily Blunt, and because I haven't seen the two, I can't wait to see the two and see how that went. But iconic, just an iconic movie. Oh, back to Princess Diaries. Apparently, because there's also a second one, but apparently we're getting a third. And apparently, I think the writer of the movie or the writer in general said that Chris Pines is going to be back. But I need these characters to come back. Mostly, hopefully, they do come back. But let's talk about some superhero movies. Spider-Man, which is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which was the very first Spider-Man movie that I seen in theaters. Iconic. Tobey Maguire played Peter Parker to a T, I believe. Now Tom Holland plays it so good. And the fact to see these three together in the same movie with No Way Home was fantastic. Another superhero movie, The Avengers. What I gotta say more? You have these iconic superheroes coming together, bickering and fighting, but also saving the world at the same time, which we get a slew of a lot of these movies, which is the MCU, which started, you have Iron Man, you have Captain America, you have Thor. We are not getting a Hulk movie, but he appears. We have had Hulk movies in the past, played by a different person. Um, Then we had the Hawkeye TV show, which I feel we should get a season two. That's just my opinion. And then Sky High. Okay, Sky High stars Kurt Russell. It's about a team that gets his powers, and I love the fact that this school is up in the sky, hit sky high, but it's up in the sky, and you basically judged if you're going to be a superhero or a sidekick. And iconic people in this movie, like Bruce Campbell, Linda Carter. If you don't know who Linda Carter is, I will probably have to have a conversation with you. She was basically the first Wonder Woman TV show. She played Wonder Woman TV show. Iconic. She, to be honest, this is one of the reasons why I love superheroes so much. My mom introduced me to the show at a very young age and still can't stop talking about superheroes. Wonder Woman is one of my favorites when it comes to just overall superhero, but just a badass woman that knows what she's doing. That's basically it. Another movie that I think I skipped over somehow, Men in Black. Men in Black is, there's aliens in the earth, and Men in Black takes care of them. You know, I remember seeing this movie at a young age in a movie theater, and I remember the Flash because it wipes your memory and stuff, but I remember the dog. I remember the fact that watching this movie and you just watch it and there's aliens on Earth, but you trying to figure out who's who's the alien and stuff like that. Some of it you could just see up front. Some of it you have to look really, really close. Um, Tommy Lee Jones is amazing in this movie. Will Smith is amazing. The fact that this movie launched a franchise. Hopefully, we get some type of reboot in the future. But those are most of the movies that I was either introduced to or I was just 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 of all of with. There's going to be some other movies I'm going to be talking about really quick. The Wiz, okay? The Wiz is one of those movies which stars Diana Ross, a slew of other people, but also Michael Jackson. I love a good musical, okay? The iconic just movie of itself is just amazing to have the certain it's the same thing as Wizard of Oz, but it's the Wiz. They changed it up a little bit, and it's mostly a all black cast. And to have Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow and have Diana Ross, oh, as Dorothy, oh my goodness, it's just amazing movie and iconic when it comes to like the the music. You're gonna get good music. You're gonna get anytime that music comes on, I gotta get up and start dancing. It's just amazing. You also have Lena Horne, iconic Lena Horne. Okay, I remember the first time that I discovered Lena Horne, right? And she is has appeared in a lot of movies, a lot of shows, but there was a particular, I forgot the name of the title of the show. I mean the title of the episode that she was in. She was in an episode of Different World. Different World. Yeah, Different World. She was in the episode of Different World. That the crazy thing about it is, which I love, that A Different World is coming back for a sequel series. I will talk more about that in an episode of 5 Minutes with Tarasha. But she was in an episode of A Different World, and I think that was the first time I ever discovered her as a little kid. It was a rerun, but I was I was like of all of her, and then started listening to her singing and her being in movies and stuff, and then seeing her in The Wiz. Her voice is iconic. She is one of those strong voices that is amazing. I love Lena Horne, and I hope in the future they do a biopic about her because I would love to know. I know like maybe a fraction about her her life, but I would love to know more. Maybe I should do like more reading about her. But like The Wiz is just iconic. And then when you think about just movies that you love and adore, and the fact that sometimes my brain gets kind of like screwy sometimes because I watch a lot of shows and I watch a lot of movies and my brain is processing a lot of stuff, but I go back to my childhood. If you hear me mention Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, or another movie that should be on this list, and I will put it right here and should be on this list, is Rugrats. All the Rugrat movies are phenomenal, but the first one is when Dill was born. Okay, there, Tommy's mom was pregnant, got pregnant. We see her pregnant at the baby shower. Angelica and Susie Carmichael get into it and stuff. They always going back and forth. Next thing you know, she went into labor. I said, what the heck? Then she goes into the hospital. Then you see Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil escape from their pen, as they usually do, by the way, and go into, you know, the where the all the babies are. Then these babies start singing. I said, "What the?" But it was enjoyable. And tell me why in this movie, when you think of like the labor delivery, they had like themes. There was one of, if I remember correctly, there was one that was in like had goats and had like a farm kind of theme to it, and the underwater one, now there's water birth. Don't get me wrong, but if you having your baby, if it uh under, I know they have it under, but this woman was underwater, like, and then, but that movie's just amazing. The music's really good. The Tommy and Chucky friendship grows, but also Tommy also becomes a big brother, and um the crazy thing about it is they get in some trouble. When does the babies don't get in trouble? Okay, they love them some Reptar, as I do, by the way, and grew up with the show and the movies, and the fact that this VHS was orange is iconic. I don't care what anybody says. Soundtrack iconic. Those are all the movies that are on my list, and I'm proud of the fact that I love all these movies and continue to watch all these movies and have fun with all these movies. I just love it. I really, really do. And if you guys have seen any of these movies, comment down below. If you haven't seen any of these movies, maybe this is your time to watch these movies. I hope everyone is having a really good day and a beautiful day. Over here, we talk about the things that we love. Bye.